Welcome to my second sketchbook tour on this channel. This sketchbook is also a sketchbook, as you can see, that I finished a while ago. I started it in July 22 and I finished it 4 months later in November. Since I finished the sketchbook, I also managed to finish another one, and I want to show you all my older sketchbooks as well on this channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. On the first page, you can see me doing some studies. I think, are these Bridgman studies? I don't remember. No, oh my god, these were from imagination, because I tried to recall what I remembered. I remember this is from imagination, and a couple of these are as well from imagination, because I drew them while I was sitting in class, and that class was again sociology of religion, and this is what we talked about and what I thought was important, so I wrote it down because I thought I could use it for the paper that I had to write in this class. But yeah, then here I try to remember the muscles apparently. And then here, oh my god, the sketchbook, I remember I was so frustrated, so I tried to pick a color per spread and then use that color throughout this whole spread, and I really didn't like this spread back then. I also messed up the sketch, and I was getting so frustrated because I messed up the first real sketch in the sketchbook, so I was like, okay, I will just cover it up. So I covered it up to feel better. And then, of course, you can see me drawing masks again, because I really like to do that. And then some poses that I drew from reference, some things from imagination as well, a sketch by a friend of mine, and then something from photo. I think this was also with reference, but I added all these golden details. I don't know for sure. Then here I realized that I was having struggles with drawing close, so I tried to challenge myself, and I tried to look at photos of poses and reference the poses. And then I also tried to look at photos where you can see very cool outfits, and I tried to combine these two things, and that was actually kind of difficult, and I was struggling a lot with that, but I can really recommend you this exercise because I think it really helped me in the end. So yeah. And again, a couple of poses here and there, trying to warm up. Here I try to uplift myself, I think, because I can see that I wrote down a question of what the worst thing is that could happen if I fail. Because I was feeling really, really bad when I started the sketchbook about my art. And you can tell that because every time I feel bad about my art automatically doesn't look as good as it could look. Oh, and then here I wrote down prompts again, and the prompts were pumpkin, friendly, and May. I don't know. I think I only stuck with pumpkin and mask. So I drew a very creepy looking pumpkin mask thing, and then some faces again from photo just to warm up and get used to the sketchbook. Same thing on this page. Again, I love to-do lists, and sometimes I will just write them down in my sketchbook. Then more poses. And here I remember we were watching the One Piece arc with Kaido that is also currently still running. And I was feeling so inspired, and while my boyfriend was taking a break because he had to do something for I think 5 minutes, I just sat down and scribbled a little bit, and I realized, damn, I really need to practice close, because of course, everybody has an idea of how, for example, samurai clothing looks, or how, I don't know, I tried to draw an outfit that I just saw in the anime without reference, and I realized that I really need to practice close because I wasn't able to just draw it, because I had the idea but I didn't really remember it that well. So I did that, and I wrote down that I really needed to practice this. Then more drawing from photos. As I mention quite a lot in these videos, I will link my Pinterest board down below. You can find almost every reference that I used on that board, and I'm also very proud of my organization over there, so check it out if you're interested in seeing the references. Then more drawing close because I'm still practicing it. This is, I think, one of my favorite spreads in this whole sketchbook, even though it's just a warm-up page, but I really like the way I drew these two poses because of the line quality and also the way the lines are shaped and how edgy they are. I really like it, I think. And also the red pen with the yellow highlighter looks very, very nice. I really like this page, even though I covered up a sketch that I really didn't like. And also again a to-do list. Actually, that was just a to-do list for a character that I was working on back then. And I think it was also the character that you see in my first portfolio project video that I ever uploaded, the one with the bird. I remember I was at the library and a friend of mine joined me, and before I went there I warmed up at home by just drawing people from photos again. And here I was at the library and I was looking at a fashion book where just the clothes were photographed without people in it, so I tried to draw someone wearing these clothes and I was so frustrated. I think this was the lowest point of that art block that I was in, but I managed to get out there after a while. And this character, I mentioned this one in the end of my last sketchbook session because I wrote down the prompts for a character, or the idea that I had for a character, and then I practiced the clothes that I needed for this character, and then I drew a character based on those prompts and the clothes that I just studied. And these were the first ideas, and then this was the final thing of this character. This is, by the way, a Yu-Gi-Oh card. So I had this idea for this character while I was at vacation, and I saw this very creepy puppet in a store, and then I just remembered, I don't know why, but I remembered that I read Sandman in class, and it was so weird and creepy, and I just wanted to draw a puppet that is playing the violin and helping for kids to fall asleep, and then she will just pour scent all over them, and while doing that also nightmares. So this is the design behind this character, or the idea behind this character. And then I tried to challenge myself to draw a pose from imagination that is using a little bit more perspective. And I see a lot of mistakes, but I challenged myself. It was quite difficult and I learned a lot from that. And then some 30-second poses based on reference. This one is also, again, from imagination, a character. I really like my warm-up pages where I just use red ballpoint pen and then use a yellow highlighter in the background. I remember with this sketch, I was also trying to prove myself that I am able to draw from imagination a little bit better. So I just sat down and doodled this one very quickly. And I kind of like it still because of the foreshortening and stuff. And then here are again some 30-second poses and a couple of 1-minute poses. And I wrote down that they are just terrible. But to be honest, now that I look at it, I kind of like them. But yeah, that always happens to me because every time I warm up, I'm like, oh my god, these drawings turn out terrible. And then I look back at them the next day and I'm like, okay, they weren't that bad, but yeah, just warm up, and it's just a warm up, don't care. You don't have to care about how those drawings turn out. I also have a separate sketchbook only for warm ups and stuff. This is also from photo. But I always like to add these patterns with colored pencil. I just really like that. Here I was trying to be a little bit more creative again from imagination. So I used my book of prompts. I generated it myself, prompts, and then drew characters based on them, and I really like the king. But you can see my sketchbook fell apart, and I still don't know why, because the Moleskine books are usually very, very good in quality, and I don't know why that happened, but I traveled with this sketchbook, so maybe that was the fault. I don't know. I don't mind. I think it's kind of cool to look at it and see, okay, the sketchbook went through quite a lot. It tells a story. Then again, a character based on a prompt, but I gave up on it because I really didn't feel like drawing it. And another page where I tried to warm up, and I was using Earth World again. I really, really, really like his photos, and I also mentioned him in the last video because I use his photos almost in every sketchbook. I really like the way he captures normal looking people. He's just an amazing photographer. Oh, I also mentioned in my last sketchbook that I was working on a comic book, and this was a character that I designed for that comic book, or the beginnings of designing this character, and I really like the way he ended up because he has more animal things in his character design than he has on this page. But this was like the first page that I ever drew where I felt like, okay, this is going in a direction that I really like. Oh, again, I think I was at a library when I drew her, but I'm not sure. I drew her from photo, and I think I drew her in the library. I think so. And then again, some warm-ups with colored pencil. And then I tried to challenge myself again by drawing something that is using a little bit more perspective. And I really like the way the masks turned out. I don't mind him. Like, I drew him. I see a couple of things that I would have to improve on. I really like the perspective in a small little sketch in the corner, but I don't think that I captured that very well. But the cubes are cool. Then I told you that I was traveling and taking this book with me, and here I was visiting a friend of mine, and we were at a coffee store when I drew this, and I remember it's so weird. There were these 3 guys sitting at the desk table right next to ours, and it was so awkward because they kept staring at the sketch while I was drawing it, and then my friends asked me if they could see the rest of the sketchbook, and it was so awkward because then I sat down in the middle of them and I wanted to flip through it, and then they stood up and just gathered around this table. It was so weird, and then I started flipping through it and they were like, oh wow, but they didn't ask me, they didn't say anything. They were still talking to each other. It was just so weird. Yeah. And then again, some thumb figures with my friends and the coffee that we went to the next day. Then some warm-ups again. I really like this. I think I will warm up with red ballpoint pen today. Oh yeah, more close studies. Some notes that I took with things that I realized while studying. Ooh, okay, so I really like painting or drawing with highlighters. So I really wanted to get this huge set of highlighters for a very long time. And at one point, I just was walking around the town with my boyfriend and we stumbled across the set of highlighters again. And I was debating whether I want to get it or not. And then he was like, I will just buy it. Give it to me. I will just get it for you. And then he bought me a set of highlighters and I used them to draw from photo. And I really like them. I just love working with highlighters because they don't bleed through. You can do a lot with them. And people always underestimate the things you can do with highlighter. This is only highlighter again, and then some things from imagination, some things from photo, some practicing things for the character of my comic book because it was supposed to be a small little girl and I really couldn't draw girls, so I was practicing that. Then some snakes. I really like this doodle on the top. Oh my god, the line quality. Oh my god, yes, I remember I got this ballpoint pen as a gift and it was something very cheap. I don't know, I think we went to a cooking thing and they had these, you know, the ballpoint pens you get as a gift, and actually they are just ads for the company. I really love these kind of ballpoint pens. In my opinion, they are one of the best ballpoint pens you can get, so just keep them and use them to draw. And I really fell in love with the way you can draw with this ballpoint pen, so I used it quite a lot, as you can see, for practice purpose. Then something that I drew, I think, within maybe 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes from imagination, and I'm so proud because I can. This isn't the best sketch, but this is a sketch that shows me and showed me back then that I really improved a lot. I was very proud of myself, and I also really liked this sketch and character. And some more ballpoint pen sketches, and I realized that I was so bad at drawing shoes, and I still am, but I tried to practice them, and I chose a random page in my sketchbook where I wrote down shoes so that as soon as I reached this page I knew I have to draw shoes because I really didn't want to do that, but that way I forced myself to draw it. And actually initially I wanted to fill a whole spread, but I didn't read that I wrote down shoes here until I was finished with this page, and then I was like, oh shit. So I just drew a few more shoes on this page, and then more faces. A couple of them, no. These 3 are from photo, and yeah. Then some place in my city where I live, and a small little cute sticker. Oh, a friend of mine, when we talk, she always likes to do things with her hands, and she made me a butterfly, and it's so cute, so I just had to put it in my sketchbook. And maybe you can tell, but I really didn't feel inspired that day. So I just chose something very cute and simple and just put it in my sketchbook. And here I was at a coffee store again with another friend of mine, and I just really like this drawing so much, because this is also a drawing where I try to challenge my drawing from imagination, but in a complex perspective thing. And I really like the way it turned out, even though this might not be the most creative sketch, but I really like it. I think I really challenged myself with perspective. And then some expressions from photo. I hope you can't hear this very loud car outside. Well, I will continue anyways. I think the first few are from photo, and then these are from imagination. And oh, I forgot about this. Oh my god, I saw a woman with her baby, and she was so, oh my god, her energy, she was so happy, and she was singing, and oh, that was so cute. And I just remembered, and I was like, I need to draw that as soon as I'm back home. So I drew her very quickly. Then something from imagination again, and I think these are all from photo, and these are warm-ups, as I can tell because I wrote it down. Oh, then this was a live drawing session, and the model was so cool. It was, I think, a middle-aged woman, and she was just so cool. And I tried to challenge myself by using only ballpoint pen and again my text marker or highlighter. You call them text marker in Germany, so I sometimes tend to say text marker instead of highlighter, so forgive me for that, don't get confused. And I tried to use highlighters and ballpoint pen. Yeah. And then this page I really didn't like, so I just skipped it. And then I went to the live drawing session again, and this guy, oh my god, he was so cool. He arrived there with his leather pants on, a piercing, and he was kind of old, and then also a couple of strands of hair in the back of his head, and it looked so cool. He was a character. And so yeah, I tried to challenge myself again by drawing with ballpoint pen, and I also drew a couple of the people that were there because I was too lazy to really render everything. So every time I got bored with a pose, I started to doodle around. And then I really like this pose. But this one was so confusing, it was so weird, and I couldn't get it right, so I tried it 2 times, and then the time was up, and I was like, okay, well then. Oh, I was at a coffee store again with my friends, and I wanted to draw a character that would exist in the world that I'm currently building, and that you can also see me build in my portfolio project videos that are up on my channel. And I really like this sketch, actually. I really like it. And then a couple of more things from that world, and I don't know what this is. Oh, I know what this is. This is something that is in my room, and I can see from my bed. Oh, and then this is my bed. Okay, I remember now. Oh, I remember. I was getting sick. My boyfriend had COVID, and I didn't get it. I wasn't positive, but I also got sick, so I think I got COVID. But it didn't show up. I don't know. Maybe I was having a cold and he had COVID. You never know. But I was sick, and I spent the whole day in bed. And then I also started to draw this as soon as I felt better, also in bed. And then we both felt better, so we started playing League of Legends. And every time I died, or every time I was at the loading screen, I started to draw something. And now either I'm very bad and I died a lot, or we both played a lot of League of Legends while we were sick. As you can tell, this is still from that day, so yeah. Then some drawing from ballpoint pen after I felt better again. Some warm-ups, 30-second poses, 1-minute poses, 3-minute. Some brainstorming for the world building, and then also some practicing for this world. And oh, I think this is a page completely from imagination, except for these 3 ballpoint pen poses. And oh my god, look at the smiley face of me trying to capture what I had in mind and then drawing it out a little bit prettier. Oh, this one is also inspired by Heihachi from Tekken. I don't know if you know Tekken, but it's a very good game. I really like Tekken. I'm also very good at it, so yeah. This elf girl is also quite funny. I like the way she has for eyebrows. I hated her back then, I remember that, but now that I look at it, I actually kind of like it. I really like her face, and yeah, that's it. Then some more poses with ballpoint pen. You can really tell that I wanted to get the sketchbook done and I didn't want to work on it anymore. Oh, I was at a coffee store again, but this time with no friends. And I sometimes like to do that and take myself out on a date and really try to draw or do something that I want to do with myself only, and it was a lot of fun. And I sometimes do that when I feel stuck with my art, because then you have no internet or no easy, I mean, you have your phone with you, but if you tell yourself that you don't want to use it, you have to really think and try to get out of your drawing funk. And I tried to do that. It kind of worked, it kind of didn't work, but then it got kind of busy there, so I just decided to go home. Some more drawings for warm-up purpose with ballpoint pen, and more trying to get used to drawing again, even though I was drawing every day, but sometimes you just feel off, and I just had to fight that a little bit. And then some poses with text marker. I just wanted to say text marker again, I mean highlighter. This shows the difference of my drawings when I have a different mindset, because here I had a very negative mindset and I was starting the session with a mindset of me failing anyways because I feel off, and I reminded myself of the fact that my mindset influences the outcome of my drawings a lot. So I just took a deep breath and I tried to remember that I am good at art, and then this happened. So you can see the difference. You really need to work on your mindset if you're like me. Stay positive. It's just a drawing. Then some... Oh yeah, I actually have it right next to me. It has a lot of pencil on it, so I'm sorry it looks kind of disgusting. But it's only pencil, so yeah. A friend of mine gave me this very cute pen and I wanted to draw with it. You can't really work with lighter strokes. Every stroke is very visible, and yeah, that makes it very difficult to draw. But I really like the things that I drew here. This I recorded for a video that I ended up deleting because this doesn't really look anything like my art, I think. It looks very cartoony. I really like the energy this character has, but I at the same time think that these drawings, I don't know, they don't represent what I'm doing and they don't represent my art. So it really didn't feel authentic enough for me, so I deleted. I think I deleted it. I may have it on my computer still, but I won't upload it. I really like this red though, and this red, and these reds. Yeah, I really like the reds because I gave them accessories as well. I think that's kind of funny. And then I uploaded the sketchbook session, and this is the last page. And then I also practiced some anatomy and some bones. More of that. And I also have things in my back pocket that I thought were cool and I wanted to keep. And it all starts with random post-its. Oh, I was trying to draw myself drawing without a mirror or anything. I was just trying to turn it around in my head, so I did that and I really liked the way it looked, so I kept it. Then here I was brainstorming the characters while recording. Then here I tried to challenge myself by drawing with a gel pen, and I really didn't care about the way these faces turned out. And I also tried to draw them very quickly, but I think these look very cool overall, so I just had to keep it and put it in the back pocket of my sketchbook. Yes, and then something from Moleskine. I think that's it. And I hope you enjoyed the sketchbook tour, and I will see you next time.